some people are going to go, no, Brendan, you're wrong, and here's the reason, but then they're going to watch it, right? In your book, you mentioned some certain topics get lots of engagement and sharing, politics being one of them. I think you mentioned that in your book as well. Politics is a massively polarizing subject. Religion's a massively polarizing subject. Those first 3 seconds, is it important to have a polarizing opinion so that you can get the next 10 seconds?
So polarizing can work, but it doesn't have to work. So it is not a requirement for success. For example, I'll just give you one big genre is top-down cooking videos of watching people cook, ingredients. There's no polarization in there, but the visual cues of how certain things are slid onto the screen, how certain, foods are introduced or things cut, those visual cues can drive and bring attention in. So I typically, when I work with clients, we never go the polarization route unless they really want to, because there's a lot of downside to it. But the short answer is you do not have to do that. You don't have to go negative.
Yeah.
You don't need to be polarizing in order to have success. If you want to go that part, if that's part of your brand, if that's what you enjoy, you can absolutely.
And if you are authentically that person, Piers Morgan's made a career out of just being a polarizing.
Well, I just did. I don't know if you know Rob Moore, but I just did.
Yeah, I know Rob
podcast,
Moore. Yeah. He's quite a polarizing guy.
Yeah, and that was like a completely different experience for me. The first 5 seconds of it, he just came out and attacked me with a statement, and I was like, okay, I get it. I see what we're doing here, but that is what he enjoys doing. It's part of his brand and the type of content that he does. There is nothing wrong with that. But I just want to stress that you don't have to do that in order to have success. There's a lot of misconceptions about social media and making content successful. One is you have to go negative. Another is you have to be polarizing.
Yeah.
You have to do stunts, or you have to have your cute dog videos or silly TikTok dance videos. No, there are so many different ways that you can break through with your message.
Yeah. Samuel Leeds was another one that Rob Moore did, and that was a very polarizing podcast, that one. I'm conscious we're here to try and talk about what the future of workplace looks like. And in this particular context, I want to talk about the importance of personal branding within the future of workplace. Can we discuss some of the preconceptions that businesses have, specifically enterprise-sized businesses, around this personal branding thing? So what do companies, you mentioned Nike, right? And they're exceptional at creating a story and all that kind of stuff. What do companies get wrong when they talk about, or when they're creating marketing campaigns, when we're specifically thinking about what we're talking about here? Nike is a really good example. What do they get wrong?
Well, there's a big difference between what Nike does and the traditional corporation. So I would say one of the challenges that I see with somebody like Nike is they are so over-reliant on their professional athletes.
Yeah.
They spend billions of dollars paying professional athletes to leverage their personal brand to promote their products. And it's been very successful. The challenge and the trap that I see companies trying to emulate that in is it's very expensive, on top of the fact that you're tying yourself to personal brands that you do not have control over.
Yeah.
So if one of those professional athletes you're spending millions of dollars or millions of pounds a year on does something controversial, well, that reflects poorly on your brand. And either that can negatively impact your sales because people don't want to, the consumer doesn't want to associate with that person anymore, or you have invested so much to prop this person up and that investment has gone by the wayside. So that model can work, but it's very costly. And what I see with companies like Nike and others is they rely so heavily on storytelling through those people that they forget to master traditional storytelling that works on social media without leveraging those stars. Like, how can you tell a compelling story without that? So to give you an example is Duolingo killed it. Now, they used a mascot, but they created this mascot from nothing and built, $1 billion brand by leveraging social media without having to rely on paid endorsements or things of that nature. So Nike has been massively successful, and I think that they will be successful in the future. is like, if I were Nike, I would, continue to do what I'm doing, but try and invest more resources into how do we actually master social media where we don't have to rely on a LeBron James or a major athlete in order to carry the weight of the story.
But is it important for other companies, organizations, not Nike, because obviously they're heavily reliant on that? Is it important for other organizations to have a personal ambassador? Because you mentioned authenticity, human voice, people connect with people. Even now you're looking at, you've got the boxing fight that's on the 19th with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua. The background is massive, massive eyes on Jake Paul. You've got I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. A streamer's just won it recently, just a few weeks ago. So you get huge, huge, huge audiences over personal people, personal branding. Is it important for organizations to have a voice, to have Elon Musk, I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Elon Musk, Richard Branson goes, with his balloon flying and all that kind of stuff. Is it important for organizations to have a person who is flying the flag?
So there's two levels to that. Mm-hmm. There always needs to be a personal voice attached to a company. But the question is, at what stage does that personal voice come in? So you can have companies where the masses, the message to the masses is not a personal voice. So like you think about a brand like TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok does not have like a major spokesperson as it pertains to the masses. The voices are the content creators that pull people in. However, when an issue arises, for example, TikTok being banned in India, TikTok being banned or potentially being banned in the United States, well, that is where the CEO comes in and has that voice that needs to be a strong spokesperson that pushes the company forward. So there are instances where the company has a strategy where the internal personal brand, whether the CEO, an executive or something, is not the forefront of the message, but they need to be there at certain layers deeper in that conversation to make sure that there is a connection point to a real person. Then there's obviously other brands. Well, you mentioned Elon Musk with SpaceX or Tesla or Grok, XAI, like that can massively drive the forefront of that. Or Mr. Beast with Feastables, where he is the forefront of it. So that decision, I think, is company to company. Both can work. It just needs to be strategically mapped out to decide, like, if the voice is going to be on the front facing of that to the masses, do we have somebody that we really believe that can carry that, that is going to be in this for the long run, and is that strong voice?